And we are live and back with Heavy Muscle Radio for the 1000th episode. I don't know. I got to count up the episodes one of these days, Chris. I'm here with Chris, the technician, Aceto, of course. And Chris, I was at McDonald's. By the way, I'm getting another surgery in my foot on Thursday. It doesn't look good. My bones are just not healing properly, and whatever the case may be. So I decided I'm going back to McDonald's. I think I was the strongest when I was eating McDonald's every day. I think my body's gotten weaker since I've stopped my McDonald's.
Yeah, you're too clean.
Yeah, too clean. So I had a double cheeseburger. I can't go back to double, crazy triple cheeseburgers. I gotta ease back into it. So I had the double cheeseburger. My wife had a double cheeseburger. My son had a double cheeseburger, and my daughter had a double cheeseburger. I went home, of course, I ate more after that. But the question I'm going to ask you, Chris, and I don't even know if you know this answer. And my wife didn't believe me. I had to look it up online to prove it to her. Only in New York, and I think it's only in New York City and in Long Island, the tri-state area, when you go into a McDonald's, the burger is made with ketchup, pickle, and onion. There is no mustard. The only place that you don't get mustard is in the New York tri-state area. Why is that?
Maybe it's a kosher thing.
No, it's not kosher.
I don't know, David. Acidic thing. I don't know. What is it?
I don't know.
Why?
Someone say they can't hear me, probably.
I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, you can?
We already went through that, yeah.
I know.
Tell them to turn their speaker.
Put your microphone on down, Dave. Sounds like the mic is across the room. I got it on. I got my microphone on. Well, I'm checking my microphone.
I want to know the McDonald's bill, Dave. Because McDonald's ain't cheap no more.
No, but you know what? I have points. I use my points, but they're
you get it for free.
They don't let you use all your points. They only let you use a little bit of points.
I sent you that picture, right, from last weekend. I haven't been to breakfast in years and years, and I took my 9-year-old, and the 3-year-old, and I was noticing all the little old people who are running the McDonald's. And the little lady came up to clean the table, said, "Are these your beautiful grandkids?"
You guys hear me? All right.
I can hear you.
It sounds like you're in the bathroom somewhere.
Sounds perfect to me.
I don't know why. I got to ask Sid. Sid will probably be watching. Sid, tell me if my microphone sounds good over there.
You're on laptop mic, Dave. Said sounds.
All right, Chris. I'm going to go check my microphone settings. You're going to talk. Talk about this is what I want you to talk about. Talk about the first McDonald's hamburger you ever had.
First McDonald's hamburger I ever had. I think I told my kids this the other day. I think it was Dave, it was, I had to be 6. And it was a big deal for my parents to take us to McDonald's. And I think it was 15 cents. It had to be 1970, 67, 68, 69, 77, 72, 73, 1973. I think, Hank Aaron probably won the batting title that year. And you could get McDonald's for a hamburger for 15 cents. I took my kids the other day for breakfast, the 3 of us, and it was $28. And that's a 3-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 37-year-old, myself. So prices rise, Dave. It's just if Dave was here, I'd say, Dave, tell me about the first time you bought test suspension, and he could go over the price. Yeah, it was $8. And now it's so Dave's going in for foot surgery on Thursday because it's his latest ailment. He's got the shoulder, he's got the knee, he's got the foot, he's got the cancer. That's four things. And I have to wonder when Dave goes in for these things, what is his health insurance with 3 kids a month? So Dave's going in Thursday for a foot. So well wishes and prayers for Dave going in to have his foot revived. And Dave, it's probably because your foot's too big. It's a size 17. It's like Bob Lanier. 1973, Dave, the first time I went to McDonald's with my parents. Also, it was 76. We went to the Freedom Train. And that was a train that went all through the United States, and it had memorabilia from sports and history in the United States, and they had a Bob Lanier shoe, which is the only foot bigger than yours.
Is his foot really bigger than mine, though?
I think it was a 22. What size is yours?
20, 18 to 20. No, 15.
15. Yeah, but you're 5'9", and he was, I think, 6'11". So probably if you scale it up, right?
Yeah.
If you were that tall, you probably have a 30 foot.
I'd have a 35 foot. Yeah.
Right,
All
Dave?
right.
How much was that? How much did that bill come to for? Oh, you used the points.
Use the points. It's McDonald's is still ridiculous cheap. All right, everyone says much better. You know what happened? I yesterday when I was doing my Secrets of Becoming a Guru course.
Oh, you must be exhausted because you had to talk so much.
Yeah, 8 hours I talked for. But when I did it, when I was like, I'm on. For some reason, I didn't bring my scooter up the stairs when I do our studio's upstairs. I have to take my crutches, and it's very hard to move around on crutches and plugs in. And I must have knocked the plug out, I guess. So I thought I was all set up, ready to go. I'm like, oh, I don't have to set up for the radio show today. And obviously, I knocked the plug out. So okay, thank you guys for correcting that, because the funny thing is that you were still able to hear me, Chris, and the camera was picking me up from across the room. That's how.
Because I have my hearing aids in. I have my glasses on and my hearing aids.
What did I tell Chris? I told you. I said, Chris, turn your volume up already if you can't.
Yeah, I was like, Dave, I can't hear you.
Oh my God. So yeah, I got to go in for sure. You know, the sad part is that they don't even know what they're going to do in there. Like, you know, I talked to my good friend Victor Prisk, you know, who a lot of you guys know. He's an orthopedic. He's actually a orthopedic foot specialist in Pittsburgh. And I sent him my CT scan. He was like horrified by it. He's like, they got to just fuse your foot basically. And, which is pretty, you know, it's pretty final, you know, when they fuse your ankle. I really don't want to get that done, but my surgeon wants to go in there and clean it up first. Now I don't know what to do because I really value Victor's opinion. He's, you know, very straightforward. And so I'm in like that limbo, like indecisive, like,
oh, it's the worst place to be. You got to decide either way. It's the worst place to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
At least if someone says, Dave, you have to go in tomorrow, you can tell your wife, yeah, I spoke to Victor and my doctor, and they said they have to see me tomorrow. There's no.
I just want someone to make a decisive decision for me.
It's like me ordering a menu, Dave. When you're there, I can't make up my mind. Say, Dave, what are you getting? You say, I'm getting this. I say, I'm getting the same thing as you.
Yeah, Chris just orders from the same thing I do. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. It's getting old. You know, things happen and stuff like that. You know, I'm pretty sure that I have a genetic disease, Chris, called old age. No.
You know what, Dave, you do.
Yeah, I think I have Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, which is it's a hard disease to diagnose because it's diagnosed on symptoms, not really any particular test that they can do on you. And it basically is, there's different expressions of it. I obviously don't have a high expression, but I have enough of an expression that it affects your connective tissue and how you're, like, I have very stretchy connective tissue, but and that's good for flexibility, but it's really not good for injuries and stuff like that because they don't heal well. And luckily my shoulders healed really well. But you know, Ehlers-Danlos, people have joint problems and connective tissue problems and all the same thing, all these things that are happening to me. Even my aortic aneurysm is one of the symptoms of Ehlers-Danlos is stable, you know, which is good that they're stable, but aortic aneurysms because the blood vessel wall's stretchy. So
yeah,
I don't know. You know,
how'd you come full circle to figure it all out?
Well, a couple of people suggested it. And then I did some research, and you know, basically it's diagnosed on symptoms, and they ask you, can you put your thumb to your hand, you know, and I can do that, and can you do, you know, are you flexible?
Yeah, I haven't been able to do that, Dave. I haven't been able to do that since I had the first McDonald's hamburger.
Fucked up tests with my hands and stuff like that. So, yeah, I have. I think I have the syndrome or some sort of expression. The weird thing is that when I was like 300 pounds, I never got hurt ever. Like when I was really big.
Of course.
And I wonder
if it works.
Yeah. I think.
And you wonder why?
Well, it's kind of weird that you would think if I had all these weaknesses, you know, these connective tissue weaknesses, that when I was that big, lifting that much weight, I would have got hurt. But I think what happens is the muscle protects you essentially. You know, I never tore a muscle in the gym ever. You know,
I was just going to say, Dave, probably all that muscle was protecting.
Maybe,
And,
but then what about when I was a runner and I weighed like 140 pounds? And I
well, you were so young then. You know what I mean? You probably didn't. It's like a new car. You take it out.
Right.
You want to laugh, Dave? How old is my Mercedes? 27 years old.
Yeah.
I got like an Infinity in the shop now. That's like a few years old. That's falling apart.
Oh my God! They don't make them like they used to as the old.
No, they don't.
I ordered the new iPhone 14. I broke down.
Of course you did.
I ordered it because you know what? My phone has this little hairline crack in the top. I'm like, and it's been doing weird stuff. It's like this computer's been doing weird. I just bought a new computer. I decided I'm no longer wrestling with technology. When things don't work anymore, I'm just buying.
Yeah, throwing it out.
I don't care anymore.
Dave, you get the new iPhone every time it comes out. I feel good about it. I jump from like a 4 to like a 14, and I say like, God, I feel like I really moved.
I don't like when things don't work. I want things to always work for me. So I'm like, why am I struggling with this thing? And I gotta push a button here, and I gotta shake it a little bit.
And you don't. But listen, they said, well, you can send it away and get it back in 4 days. I'd rather spend the money and have a new one.
Yes. Well, I just traded it. So it cost me an extra $350 because I traded it in early. But I'm like, I don't care. Just take the fucking phone. Take this one back. Give me a new one. So it doesn't. The funny thing is these upgrades now that they're doing these things from year to year. There's nothing that really is that you or I would significantly use with the upgrade. Like the features that they add are like for people that are like high tech people like that. Like you and I never use half the technology in these phones, that they have. But Dave, I like to know I have.
Dave, you just asked me how to. I asked you before we came on the show. You said turn up the volume. I'm like on my techno. I'm like, how do I do that? The only way I would be able to do that is if I could speak. Yeah. Siri or someone turn it up or get my kids.
Hold on, I had another thing I wanted to bring up to you. Oh, you know what? What's driving me crazy? I probably.
I tagged you on the football run, right?
No,
I sent you the football runs. I sent you football runs of all my son and football.
Where did you on Instagram?
Oh, I sent it to your phone.
No, I didn't get it.
Oh man, you know who I called right away?
Who?
I text. Who's the historian? John Hansen.
Oh yeah.
I said, John, I need John Brown's phone number. And I text John Brown. Right away because his son's playing the NFL.
Right.
And I said,
no, they're very good too, both of them.
Yeah. He said, "How'd you get my number?"
All I got was the picture of your son like talking to Jose Raymond from the stands.
Oh no! The brutal.
Put them on your Instagram. You put
it is. Well, one is on the Instagram. You can see one of them.
Your Instagram. I pulled them.
To get John Brown on the phone. For people who don't know, John Brown was Mr. Universe, and his 3 sons. He groomed them like Serena Williams' father did to play in the NFL.
Very smart, not to be a bodybuilder. That is. He knew there was no money in bodybuilding. That's why. They're really good too, his sons. They're not like just in there. I see. Okay, hold on. All right, let me pull this up. You got to give us the play-by-play of who's.
Well, no, the caption is the play-by-play.
Okay, hold on.
The caption is the play-by-play. That's why I put it up.
All right.
That's him fullback right there.
Freshman year, first year.
No trend, no mass roam, just like 1,000 mgs of test a week.
That's him just running over everyone.
Yeah.
He's very tall for his age. Now let's watch it one more time.
He's also the brand manager of my supplements, but he kind of gave up on that. Now he's like
now he's a football star. Yeah. Why is he only? I thought he's only in his freshman year.
No, read the caption.
Oh, in
the freshman year he never played. He's never dreamed of playing football. His freshman year he went out. His sophomore year was COVID. Junior year he played 1 game and was injured the entire year, and had like 3 crazy runs in the first game, and then he was out. And so this is it. He's had a very short year. So I told John Brown, I said, you know what, I know talent when I see it. So I know buildings, bodybuilding, and talent.
All right, so now
I know who the liars are. I have all kinds of expertise in things.
Hold on. Now that he's this good in his senior year, is it too late? I mean,
Thank you, Dan W. Dan W. is complimenting my hair. I always get nailed for my hair, but go ahead.
Oh, I wish I had your hair. I just got a haircut today too. But are there any colleges that are interested in him?
No,
too late.
that it's what he's never played.
That's what I'm
What
saying.
you're seeing is someone, that he's never had a season. He never had the
But
sophomore year.
can't you
never
hire
did-
one of these video?
Yeah, somebody.
gurus,
Yeah, we'll get like
put together
get-
a tape of him. You know,
we got to get who's our voiceover guy? Sid.
Sid. Oh,
Sid would be
Sid with the
perfect.
voiceover. Yeah.
Yeah. In the
Look at him
realm
running
of
down the
Tony
sideline.
Dorsett, Earl Campbell, right? He could go through the list.
He broke 4 tackles and he's going for the end zone.
Yeah.
He scores. Holy mackerel. Can you believe
I
it?
could even sit up here in the end zone and do like a little interview, like take the helmet off and right.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. That would be great. That would be really good. All right, let's talk about the new freak on the block.
Who's in the freak?
Vlad, the Impaler, Sirocco, who won the past week in
Impaler.
the
Who came up with
Yamamoto
that?
Cup in Italy.
Yeah.
Freak.
Yeah, he's Ukrainian, I think.
He's a super freak, this guy. You know, he looks a lot like Nick Walker. He's like a Nick Walker lookalike, don't you think?
Ukrainian Nick Walker.
I really think he looks a lot like Nick Walker.
Well, you know what? He's really good, and he's you know what? He's lost shows, you know, meaning like been in the top 4 in tough lineups, and I think the criticism of him in a tough lineup is, quote, he's blocky.
Yeah,
and I know what that means.
He doesn't have a small waist as Nick Walker.
He doesn't have a small waist, but at the same time, you know, having added muscle over like the last 3 years, he's become less blocky because he's putting it in the right places. Back, legs are fantastic. Chest, shoulders. So if you look at him like 3 years ago, you'd say, oh, he's fantastic, looks really good. And then you would probably say, well, you know, it could use his waist is too wide. But it's become, quote, less wide. That's a great shot. It's become less wide because of, you know, the added mass of the pec, shoulders, arms.
But doesn't he facially? He looks a lot like Nick Walker facially, I think. They look like they could be brothers.
Well, all white guys look alike.
Yeah.
No, he does. He does have I would say
Nick
cousins.
Walker presence about him. I don't know. They're not exactly the same, obviously, but you know they have a very similar look. You know, they're very, very densely muscled. I think Nick Walker will easily beat him, you know, in head-to-head competition. But I'm saying he's very dense, and I appreciate the level of conditioning that he brought to the stage because we don't see that.
Great condition. Great. He's usually in very good condition, but this was his best. This was his best in terms of everything. You know, balance. Size,
I didn't make up
condition.
the name Vlad the Impaler, by the way. That's his real nickname. Just so you know.
Does it say Ukraine? I think he's from Ukraine. I'm almost positive because people say, yeah.
It looks like Ukraine, yeah.
Well, maybe, yeah.
He's team Oxygen Gym.
Yeah. Beta Budai disciple.
Yeah, I see them.
They need someone over there.
Look at those shots.
Yeah, he looks crazy there. Yeah, see, his lats are bigger.
He definitely made improvements from a couple of years ago, like you said.
Yeah, legs are phenomenal.
Yeah. Very impressive legs. You don't see legs like that too often. His legs remind me of Hassan Mustafa's legs.
Yeah, they do, especially that left one.
Yeah, very freaky. He's got freaky legs. Very freaky legs. Good shot right there. So, where does this guy fit into the men's open lineup?
Oh God, it's gonna be a tough show, dude.
Of course, I know.
I'll tell you, I saw pictures of a video that he posted of Hunter Labrada. He's gonna be a dark horse. Like, I know he got a lot of flack last year for his conditioning. He got a lot of flack for his placing. He's got a lot of flack for shows that he's won because his conditioning's been like good, and that's it. but I think that conditioning issue is, after seeing today's video of Hunter, I think the conditioning issue was not necessarily a conditioning issue, but a muscle aging, density, and maturity issue, if that makes sense. You would get that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
I mean, you can anyone can starve to death and get peeled technically.
Right, but he was not in good shape for the Olympia. We've seen him much better than that in other shows, you know. So, but
he's bigger now.
Yeah, I think that he needs to just not worry about his size. He's got the size he's got is the size Labrada's got. He should just worry about coming in peeled to the bone because he's got really good shape and structure. So even if Sean Roden was never the biggest guy on stage, and he destroyed people, you know. So the key is coming in shredded so that he can make guys that are bigger than him look bad, like his dad did for years. And his dad was what, 5'5"? You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, he's a big guy. No one's going to make him. No one's going to tower over him, you know, and no one's going to make him look small. So come in peeled. You got the smallest waist on stage. I mean, what's there to, you know? Don't leave the door open where guys that are blockier than you with better conditioning are going to beat you. And that, I think that was a mistake that he made, you know, worrying about coming in too big, you know.
Well, I mean, you got a 336 pounder in the lead, so it's easy to, you know what I mean? It's easy to.
You're not going to beat him playing his game.
I know. But if you know what, if you're in a war and somebody's shooting like bazookas at you, you don't listen to the general that says, you know, don't worry about the bazookas. You can beat them with you have all the tools. You can beat them with bayonets and rifles and you know, strategically placed, you know, car bombs.
Yeah.
You know, you subconsciously worry about being big.
Right. Flex Wheeler was never the biggest guy on stage.
No, and if Flex didn't worry about it, he probably would have had several, you know.
Right. Melvin Anthony wasn't the biggest guy on stage. And
not even close.
People. Sean Ray was not even close.
No, not even close. Not even close.
Neither was Lee Priest. And these guys were placing top 6 at the Olympia every year. So in lineups with monsters, you know.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we'll see how Vlad the Impaler is going to do. Now, let's if you look at the placings here, we had Mohammed El Imam,
he's good. Yeah,
he's good. He was second place.
Russian,
yes,
by way of Egypt. I think he's
Andrea Muzi, who we saw compete about 60 times this year already. He was third.
Yeah, he's got so many points. He's got they're giving him free McDonald's days.
Free McDonald's double cheeseburgers. He's good. Yeah. And fourth place was Jamie the Giant, Jahal.
Yep.
And our good friend Roman Fritz, who I just had on the TV show the other day.
So. Jamie the Giant fills out that frame, dude, and he's a celebrity.
Yeah, he's a freak.
No, because he's like, I mean, he just needs more mass, but the potential for just craziness, you know, in terms of who's that tall on an IFBB Pro stage? You know, it's almost like you want to say like he's the best guy on stage, but then you say, no, he's just needs to fill that out more. But if it was filled out.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100% right. I don't know why there's not more. They don't even have the placings up on IFBBpro.com yet. I don't know what the problem is. Let me pull up this guy. I'm pulling pictures. I got to get Fitness Vault their credit because they have the results up there. This is the winner of the Classic Physique. It's the Zagarella.
Yeah, he's I said it. I already said it. I make all kinds of predictions. I write my predictions down. I said the classic division this year is going to be a bodybuilding division. Don't you know? Believe it's still going to come down to probably the same top 3 as last year, but you're going to see a lot of people jockeyed around because yes, he has a classic physique and he's a lot thicker than probably many people who have placed 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th in the last 2 or 3 years.
It's a pretty low check, $2,100. You know, maybe it'd be 2,100.
That's euros. It's like $10. The euro is so weak right now against the American dollar.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's worse than the American dollar.
Dude. Oh my God. The American dollar is like It's like it's like $1 on Real GH and Real Trend.
I don't think this guy's hotel was even covered with that paycheck. Crazy.
It's if you want to go to Italy and or Europe and have a nice vacation.
Yeah.
Greek islands. Now's the time. It's cheap.
Jeff Darko wins the men's physique category right there. They had a lot of good competitors. I'm glad that they held the show there. I don't know why more people didn't compete in the show, but I ask that question all the time. So
yeah,
too expensive to get over there, I guess. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing: if John Enrico Pica throws a great show over there in Italy,
I don't think that was his show, Dave.
Oh, it wasn't. I didn't even know.
No, I think someone stole it from him, or he gave it up.
Oh, really? Because
there's a story behind there. No. Definitely not his show. I know that for a fact.
Oh, that's too bad. I haven't talked to him in a while. I got to give him a call. Yeah, they still don't have the scorecard up. They probably got to send the scorecard to Pittsburgh
They're making it up. I'm
to
kidding.
Check the numbers. Check the math. They got to check the math, Chris.
No, they got to send it to like the accountants. Who's the accountants that got in trouble with in the financial crisis when they were jimmying up everyone's books? And jimmy up the books. Cook the books.
Cook the books. There you go.
Probably that's a better saying than jimmying up the arms is cooking the books.
True. I got a better one for you. I was going to do a rant on it. I might still do a rant on it, but you know what's also another one that drives me crazy? Everyone nowadays, you know how they always have bridging and they have all these like terms like, for steroid
nuking.
Microdosing. Microdosing. That's everyone. That's the newest thing. Everyone's microdosing. You know what that means?
Of course I don't.
What do you think microdosing is?
Oh my God.
Microdosing is these guys, instead of they're taking supposedly, really microdosing is supposed to be like, hey, I take a shot. Instead of taking 100 milligrams of testosterone per week for hormone replacement, I take like 20 milligrams per day or like 15 milligrams every single day.
You want my non-scientific
and I do it
analysis of it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's
like saying instead of having a cup of coffee at 9 a.m., I split I spread it out over a 14-hour period, and my body has
every hour.
I have a consistent delivery of caffeine, so my body doesn't adapt to the. You know what? There's a benefit to not having a microdose.
Right.
You know what?
Get a little peak.
You want to get a peak.
Right, but what the real thing? I'm not against the whole microdosing, although who the hell wants to take a shot every single day? But what's going on now is a lot of these pros now are like applying that microdosing philosophy to like saying, well, I'm microdosing my gear throughout the week, so I take a shot every day. But the truth is that if you take these guys are taking so much stuff that they almost have to take a shot every day, so they don't have to put 5 cc's into a syringe and take it every other day. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're microdosing like 200 milligrams of testosterone every day, or 400 milligrams combined of gear every single day, is that really microdosing at that point? You know what I mean? Because what are you going to do? Are you going to take like 1,000 milligrams of gear in one day, and then the other 1,000 milligrams Wednesday, and then the other 1,000 milligrams on Friday? I mean, of course you have to microdose it because you can't. It's not microdosing anymore. You're macrodosing every day is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I just that whole term irks me when people try to apply it to regular gear usage.
I put it in the category of blasting, cruising, and intermittent fasting.
Right. I just think you're microdosing if you're taking a very small dose every day. If you're taking a big dose every single day, it's not called microdosing anymore. It's called daily dosing, which is what most people do when they get close to a show, because they can take in so much stuff, they got to take it every day. Otherwise, you take it every other day and you're just taking 2 shots every other day. It's the same thing. It's not microdosing, guys. Microdosing means tiny amounts, 15, 20 milligrams of testosterone per day under the skin. They put it. It's this much fluid. They put underneath the skin, and that supposedly to get a more even release of testosterone. Now, the stupid thing is they're doing it with testosterone, enanthate, which is long acting. Now, if you did it with maybe propionate, I guess you can theoretically, do that. But the truth is that enanthate does have peaks and heights and valleys. But I mean, if you did it every other day or you did it twice a week and you're on hormone replacement, it's not going to be a big deal. If you did it every other day, even if you were on 1,000 or 1,200 milligrams a week, you're not going to notice any difference. In other words, because you're going to have enough in your system.
Did Tony Freeman microdose?
Tony Freeman.
I'm giving you the segue soft pitch into.
Yeah. Well, you sent me. It's funny, Chris.
It's just bizarre.
Let me just tell this story. So Chris always texts me these random questions every once in a while. He's like, how would Tony Freeman, you think, do against Andrew Jack?
Wait, then I test it and I send the same question to Jose.
Right, but I'm just saying, but I don't even know where you came up with the question. How did that even come into your head to even ask me? And then I'll qualify.
I asked this. I asked Dave. I can read the text. I said, Dave, how would Tony Freeman do in the Olympia lineup? And Dave, at his one of his best looks, and Dave said first or second. Yeah. And then I text Jose. And I said, Jose Raymond, kind of, stellar bodybuilder, knows what he's talking about. Most decorated NPC bodybuilder in history, won multiple pro shows, won the Arnold, second in the Olympia. Hey,
won his pro card about 14 times and didn't take it.
Yeah, and refused it.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't microdosing at that time. He was dosing, Jose.
No dosing.
And so, which people wouldn't believe. And so I said to Jose, Tony Freeman at his best or close to his best, how would he do in the lineup? And he said, the Olympia said, first or second. And then this popped up 12 hours later.
Yeah, someone was.
And I had to screenshot it and send it to Dave. This guy must have been in my head. He must have been in my earpiece, when Bush was giving that debate that year, and he had the pack on his back, he had an earpiece in. Remember that?
Yeah. You know what the funny thing about this picture is? That's not even a good shot of Tony Freeman.
Oh no.
It's not even it's an okay shot of Tony Freeman, but this is not Tony. That wasn't Tony at his best, but it was a good shot. Who do you think? Who I mean, I don't even think
Tony's better in that pose.
Yes, he's better in that pose, obviously. Well, Tony was a very complete bodybuilder, and his only weakness was when he turned around his glutes. Because I was helping him when he was.
His hams were nuts. He just didn't have glutes.
Were crazy. His glutes, I'd have to starve him and put him on no carbs for 6 weeks to get glutes in. But when he was hard and dry, that 2008 Olympia, you could make a case for him winning that show.
No, it was it was 8, Dave, and he also he suffered one year from the Lee Thompson special.
Yes.
He went to, I think it might have been Brazil. There was one show that they just it was one of the shows where you say let's get real.
It was a Lee Thompson special. You're right.
Yeah. And Tony was in it, and Tony came out, and I was like, uh-oh, and I had someone in the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, uh-oh, Tony. I'm like, okay, let's see if he's, no, he's hard there. Hard there. What are you going to say? You're not balanced?
Yeah. No, he had one of the prettiest physiques of all time. You know what the funny thing about Tony was? He never, he didn't complain. He would complain to me, but he also won an awful lot of pro shows. I mean, when I was helping him, we had a string where he was winning a couple shows every 3 or 4 shows a year. I mean, and a couple of them were real squeakers, where Tony, literally got on stage with no carbs, never carved them up at all. He had one carb meal after prejudging, and he looked like he ate 40 carb meals. That's how full he was, He just shape was just amazing.
Yeah, you have some good interviews, Dave, that you could pull up, where he should have placed high, and
we should get him on the show one day and just have him shoot the shit with us and tell us, because he's like Milos. He remembers every show he did.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I was going to send that exchange, Dave, to him, but I didn't have a text.
I noticed he put it on his page. He actually posted that too.
Oh no! But I didn't know. He would not believe me if I said I was going to screenshot the conversation between me and you, and then me and Jose, and then send it to him.
Yeah.
And then this was posted up, and I'm like, no, he wouldn't believe it. That I just happened to say, like, hey, Dave, hey, Jose, how would,
Right.
Tony Freeman do in the Olympia?
The funny thing is, I even asked you, I said, why don't you get Jose on the TV show tonight, too? That
Yeah.
was,
It's even crazier.
Yeah, it was even crazy. And he told me that. But, the Arnold UK is coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I want to just pull up. Have you seen Patrick Johnson?
Yeah, I've seen him. He's out in.
He's another freak.
Yeah, he's out in Oxygen Gym.
Yep, I want to pull his picture up. Abdul is training him.
Yeah, he looks good.
He's put a lot of size on, don't you think?
I don't know. I don't know where. I never saw him before. What was he doing before? What was he before? Who was he before? You know what I mean? I don't. Compared to what? I didn't see him compete before. I don't remember who.
He's got a crazy amount of muscle, and he's really, really strong in the gym too, which is,
Was he
guys
Nigerian?
who train heavy have a lot of muscle.
Huh?
I always tell people that. The guys who train heavy have good quality muscle on them. Look at that leg. I think that Arnold UK is going to be a really good show. They have a good lineup there between Andrew Jack and what's his name?
I think Jack is not in it. Andrew Jack's not in it.
Oh, he backed out?
Yeah, he's got. I think he has an issue with the visa or something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But I talked to George. And George says, "Brother, I speak every day to CIA. I get you visa." The Queen died. The Queen died
to the United States, but he didn't get one to the UK.
Yeah, well, the Queen died, and George is going to try to speak to. George had to call into the Queen, and the Queen promised him the visa, but she died last minute. So now he doesn't have any connections with Prince Charles.
I would think that it would be pretty easy to get into there, don't you think? I didn't think UK.
I told George. I said, George, just oh no, he's not alive anymore. That's right. You can go to Jeffrey Epstein's folks.
Epstein Island. Yeah, what I don't understand is you think that they got cold feet because the Arnold UK lineup got so deep that they said, you know what?
No, there's got to be an issue with the visa. I mean,
I don't know.
Because you know what? There's only two scenarios. You go to the Andrew Jack, go to the UK show Jacked, and people will coronate him top three. Whether he's going to be top three, I highly doubt it.
But what if he goes there and doesn't win?
Well, that's the problem.
Stock goes down.
No, I mean it's expectations. It's a game of expectations, just like the Olympia. It's a game of expectations. We're expecting to see this guy look like this, expecting to see this guy look like that. And when you don't meet him, I'm not saying he can't meet him, but the chances of Andrew Jack being lights out at UK with only a few years of training under his belt is asking a lot.
What I'm asking is, you think that they decided, hey, you know what? We want a show. We're qualified for the Olympia. All we can do is go there, and if we don't win, we lost, basically.
That sounds plausible.
And there's no pressure for him. He doesn't have to do the Arnold UK.
No,
he is qualified for the Olympia. He can use that extra time.
Yeah, put it this way. Yeah, it's a nice gamble. I was going to say I can play it both ways. You go and you blow the show up, and you're like the biggest talk going into the Olympia in years. But if you go and you look the exact same as Texas,
right,
you're not.
No, it could
Who's
really
built
lower
to
your
laugh?
stock.
Built to laugh is like, people are so stupid. Chris, you're insane. Jack would have easily won the UK. Did I say he wouldn't win the UK?
Well, look,
but looking the same is not winning it for him. Take it from someone who's been around bodybuilding for like 40 years. If you go and you look the exact same as Texas, which is good, and you have still issues with your back last spread, back double, your side shots are far from dominant.
Right.
You have dominant poses. You have other poses that are not dominant. Then you've been quote exposed as like, okay, we thought you were gonna like nail it for the UK show.
Right. I mean, he can go there and lose.
Yes,
to
he's
James
gonna.
Hollingshead.
He's gonna beat people there, but you know, we're not talking about some guy who people are talking about. Oh, geez, he'll be a pretty good pro in his time. We're talking about people talking about him winning the Olympia.
But I'm saying he's gonna go against guys like James Hollingshead, who's like a little Branch Warren, who's gonna come in shredded to the bone with fucking oodles of muscle, no gaps in his physique, and you know he could lose to him. You know, if he's not at 100%, it's James' home territory there. You know, James is looking to qualify for the Olympia. You know, he goes in there and he can win that show. And now what happens to Andrew Jack's stock? I'm not saying he can't beat, you know, Hollingshead, but if he doesn't beat Hollingshead, that lowers his stock way, way down. And it also is a mental thing. You know, it's a momentum, you know, killer. He's got momentum right now. People want to see this guy on stage. You know, they're looking forward to seeing improvements. Like you said, if he shows up and he's not improved, even though he was really good in Texas, that's a fail, don't you think?
You just summarized what I said.
No, I know I did. But
No,
I'm saying,
I'm just saying, and you know, you can use the listen. Martin Fitzwater, who's made tremendous gains.
He's doing the UK too, right?
Yeah, he's very dangerous. He was second. So it's what my point is, Martin, no disrespect. Kamal was by 1 point fourth. So let's just say it. Kamal definitely beat Kuklo. Kuklo's from Texas. If you lose to Kuklo by a point, you know, essentially you're beating them. So the point is the Texas Pro was not a banging crazy lineup.
Yeah.
Whether Kuklo's been third in the Arnold or not, it don't matter. I mean, it's not, you know, neither is the Arnold this show, but you don't have Bonac in the show. I'm just, you know, I mean, that side chest, how do you think this is going to do against Bonac? So just to bring people back down to life.
Yeah. You said it best when we first saw him on stage. You said this guy is going to be a future champion. The key word being future. Didn't mean right now, you know. He has potential if he puts on, you know, more muscle, brings in a little better conditioning to be very, very dangerous down the road.
Dave,
he's still just starting, you know.
How's he do next to Tony Freeman?
I don't think he beats Tony Freeman.
Well,
when Tony was at his best, he might beat Tony Freeman in 3 years, you know. From
Dave,
now
on that you only showed. There's only one picture that you showed from that guy's Instagram. There's like multiple pictures. It's not a dig on Andrew Jack. It's like to pump up Tony Freeman, but to give people, or you know, to contrast, you know, what physiques are about. Because I would argue, you know, take the litmus test. How would Tony Freeman do against, you know, Brandon Curry?
Yeah, I don't know. He might beat him, right? What do you think?
You know what? Better quads, better front lat spread, better front double. At least you got three. If you go scroll to the right,
I'm gonna scroll. Yeah, I didn't realize there was more pictures there.
Neither did I. Someone. Who wins that show?
That's Freeman.
Andrew Jack is phenomenal there, and look at. I mean, Andrew Jack. That's his shot. With, you know, and Tony's. There you go.
And like I said, that's not Tony's best. These pictures, wherever these people got these.
No, look at the front lat spread.
Yeah. Tony's front poses are dominant, like especially the ab thigh, and that's a pretty good shot right there for Tony too.
Well, here's my point. When I said, Martin Fitzwater's got pretty damn good from the side. He'll be competitive there. Back Freeman's got him, and he's not known for his
this guy stole our show. Versus, wasn't that our show for a while that we stopped doing because we got lazy?
Oh yeah.
See, this picture is not a good Tony Freeman. Like I said, Tony was not in the best shape of his career in this picture. So, but neither was Andrew Jack. So I guess it's fair, but comparison.
But he's got all those shots: hamstrings, back lat spread,
ab thigh, definitely. Tony's got great thighs.
I think it's Andrew's best shot. I mean, best body part.
it's a different era. It's not really fair to any bodybuilder to compare like Dorian Yates and Phil Heath and Dorian Yates and Big Ramy, because it's a different era. You know what I mean? They're not competing against each other. They're not pushing each other. They don't have to stand next to each other. So it's like when they used to try to say who would win, Muhammad Ali or Rocky Marciano, or Mike Tyson or Ali.
Yeah.
Did you see? There was an interview that I think I sent it to you where Tyson was with Ali.
Yeah, it was on.
What show were they on?
The guy who had the late night talk show.
Was it Letterman or
no? Who took over for? I think.
Jimmy. What's his name? Yeah.
The actor who was in Coming to America with.
Arsenio Hall. That's right.
Arsenio Hall.
And they said, Mike, who would have won, you or Ali? And and Mike was young.
Like, cocky and young.
He's like, he's a legend, He's like, I can't even like put myself in that category, which was very humble for Mike Tyson, to say that. But he's like, as a man, I would say myself, but this is a legend. Ali was great. But
no, Dave, we weren't doing the comparisons. We were doing that. We got too lazy. Epic battles, contests that were like, we did.
No, we did that on the show, but then we also we had a show.
Oh yeah. Yo, that was way back. You did that way back. I think you were the creator of that, of course.
It was actually Sid's idea.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you sent me an article which doesn't have anything to do with bodybuilding, but
it does kind of.
It's worthy to bring up. They're blaming people getting fat now on plastic. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did.
This article that you sent me.
Well, it's all the estrogen floating around in the world.
I don't buy it.
It's true.
I don't buy. You know why I don't buy it? I'll tell you why. Because the people that are getting fat are the people eating fucking crap. It's not like there's guys that are like eating, or women that are eating super clean, 5 meals a day, doing their cardio, going to the gym, and they're like, you know what? I'm a fat slob. I don't know what's going on. It must be all the estrogen in the plastic that I'm drinking from the soda bottles. It's always the people that are eating freaking bonbons and does anyone even know what a bonbon is anymore?
No, I was just going to, that dated you, Dave. I don't think they make bonbons anymore.
They don't?
I don't think so. They do make they still make Twinkies.
Bonbons are good, man. Those are little ice cream things with the chocolate coating. Anyway, it's always the people that are eating junk food that are the ones saying, I can't lose any weight. I don't understand it. It must be all the estrogen and all the plastic, that I'm microwaving all my my M&Ms and
well,
plastic.
You know what? I think if these fat people microdose their Clenin T4, T3, they'd probably get a more
better results,
balance,
much better results
out of it, and they wouldn't be so.
How come bodybuilders can get ripped and shredded, and we probably put more food into plastic containers than anyone else?
Because we're nuts. Because bodybuilders will just like torture themselves.
Chris, we live in a society of excuse makers, as my dad would say. Everyone's making an excuse for everyone.
Well, Dave, if your father was coherent and alive now, he'd be dead because he wouldn't be able to take the laziness. I'm texting with, as we speak, Dave, the show where just
it's crazy.
The biggest real estate developer I know, and just saying the same thing. Everyone, people are, he's been doing it 47 years, and people are not as motivated and hardworking as they were 37 and 47 years ago.
An emerging view among scientists is that one major overlooked component in obesity is almost certainly our environment. In particular, the pervasive presence within it of chemicals, which at very low doses, see, they're microdosing these chemicals too, act to disturb the normal functioning of the human metabolism, upsetting the body's ability to regulate its intake and expenditure of energy. Some of these chemicals known as obesogens, they're giving it their own name.
Oh, obesogens.
Obesogens directly boost the production of specific cell types and fatty tissues associated with obesity.
You know what, Dave? I drink from this plastic cup on my desk all the time. I'm probably getting obesogens from it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, these chemicals are now used in many of the basic products of modern life, including plastic packaging, clothes, furniture, cosmetics, food additives, herbicides, and pesticides. 10 years ago, the idea of chemically induced obesity was something of a fringe hypothesis, but not anymore. Obesogens are certainly a contributing factor to the obesity epidemic, is what Bruce Bloomberg, An expert on obesity and endocrine disrupting chemicals from the University of California told us by email. Of course he's saying it because he's trying to get funding from the government for research. The difficulty is in determining what fraction of obesity is related to chemical exposure.
0.0001.
Yeah. Yes.
How's that for fraction?
Yeah. Every person who's fat who doesn't want to diet is going to tell you. Now they have a good excuse. It's the plastic containers I'm using. Well, you know what? Switch to glass. It's in everything.
It's
you know,
floating around there. Obesogens, Dave.
Obesogens. Yeah, let's do it. Put it on the cover of MD.
Yeah,
Obesogens.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get Dale Alexander, the Codfather. We got to get.
Yeah. Is Dale still around? Is the Codfather still around, Dave?
The Codfather. Oh my God. Dale Alexander wrote this book about how cod liver oil was so healthy for you. This is before they had regular fish oil. They would use the oil from the liver.
Yeah, grind up cod liver. From
So
Maine, from
Twin Lab.
codfish.
Yeah, Twin Lab decided they were going to come out with a whole line of cod liver oil products. So Blackman got this great idea Dale Alexander wrote the book. We'll call him the Codfather.
Yeah. And we'll pay him a salary. He'll write for us, and he'll plug our product.
Yeah, the Codfather endorsed the product. I don't know why they felt like the cod liver oil was so important. Why wouldn't they just go for regular fish oil?
I don't know. Probably Dave. You want to know why? Probably some company in Maine. They couldn't sell. They
were throwing out the livers of all the
liver. I'm dead serious. And someone said, grind up the livers, and we'll get some guy to write a book on it.
Right.
That's how like scamming scams.
That's probably the case. You know why? Because no one drinks cod liver oil anymore. So
we'll take the whole damn company public. Well, Blackman did that anyway.
The liver,
they took it public. We'll take the cod liver pills public. We'll bamboozle everybody.
The liver of your body is the detoxification dump, right? So all the toxins are in the liver. So people are worried, nowadays about taking fish oil because they think they're going to get impurities in the fish oil. Can you imagine the impurity level of the cod liver oil that was probably?
They're afraid to get the plastics, the obesogenics, that are stuck in the fish fat. Well, you know what? The damn liver. It's like the nuclear. It's like the nuclear foot of Chernobyl.
Yeah, Blackman told me there was a problem because cod liver oil has a lot of vitamin A and D in it, which the D was good, but the vitamin A in high amounts is not healthy for you. So if you did too much of it, I think you start turning green or something like that. Blackman would have, when we got to dinner or even breakfast, he would pour so much olive oil on his plate that it would be like. The food would be floating in it, and then he'd put garlic in it because the garlic was supposed to be good for lowering cholesterol.
He didn't believe in microdosing those. He was
mega dosing the olive oil and garlic. He would, if I eat like a sprig of garlic, it could be like a sprinkle. My wife will smell it on me for 3 days.
What would NASA? Go ahead.
He reeked. The garlic smell coming out of him could clear out a room. That's how strong it was.
You know what? He had good HDLs and
my God, I'm sure he did. Well, heart disease ran in his family, and that's why. So he didn't want to genetically. He had a predisposition for that, so he combated it with eating a really healthy diet, which he did. He did. I got to give him that. He was very, very good with his diet. So
what about what would NASA say about microdosing?
Yes. I microdose. I take a shot 5 times a day. It is my microdosing because that is true microdosing. You must take a shot every 3 hours. I set my alarm, and these guys think that once a day of 500 milligrams is a microdose, but it is a macrodose. And they, unfortunately, Chris, it is because they cannot speak English properly and they don't know the terminology and definitions of words because they are imbecilic and they have not graduated from high school. So what do you expect?
He'd say, I'm trying to beat Baxilla. I'm not trying to win a bikini contest. Figure contest.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? We like to make all these terms. We have so much terminology. Think about how many more vocabulary and terms that there are for things in today's world than there was like 20 years ago.
Dave,
And
someone go ahead.
these things were still around 20 years ago. It's just that no one named them. Now everything has got a name that you do. I gotta use Slin, and I gotta microdose, and I gotta bridge, and I gotta, so stupid, the whole thing.
Well, people use real estate terms. I usually run from them. When they start dropping the terms, I'm like, this guy don't know anything about real estate.
No,
You don't need to know bankers' terms.
No. I got to use some VAR, I got to bridge with some VAR and some Winnie. Remember, we used to call it Winnie V, but no one does that anymore because people don't even know why it was called Winnie V. The original Winchell bottles were 30 and 50 ml bottles. They came from a veterinarian. And so the V was vet. So it was Winchell V because Winchell veterinarian. And for some reason that stuff hurt way more, the Winchell V, than the Zambon single.
Because it had those crystals in it. You could see the...
Yeah. It was not as pure as the Made for Humans was.
Yeah.
You remember the Zambons that they made in like Barcelona?
Yes.
They came from Spain.
Spanish ones. Yeah.
They would come three in a bottle, and you'd crack it. They were like little milk bottles, and you'd crack the top off and suck it out, and you take the whole milk, the whole 50 milligrams. You inject that every other day or something like that. But those were great. Those didn't even hurt. Those were like perfect. They weren't thick. They didn't clog the syringe.
Do they still make them?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I went to Barcelona in '91, and I got those boxes. We went into the pharmacy. We bought tons of boxes of them. They were $2.25 for 3 ampules.
And I thought McDonald's in '73 for the 15-cent hamburger. When you got more offline, I was talking about how much I paid to the. I thought that was.
It was $1.25 for a box of Winchell tabs. Now the Winchell tabs were only 2 milligrams each, but there was 20 tabs in a punch out. There were 20 punch outs.
See, Dave, you should have went and just bought. You should have borrowed $5 million from someone.
We went with a lot of money.
Dave went with $4.5 million. I'm finding out.
Yeah. We went with 10 grand. I think my friend and I combined, and we bought a whole bunch of stuff and sent it back because you got to remember it. In 1990, they made it illegal. Steroids. They were controlled substances. So everything dried up in the United States. There was a lot of fake stuff going around. So we went to Barcelona and we mailed back the stuff to ourselves just so we had our own stuff, and it was so cheap. Matter of fact, I didn't use Anadrol back then because I just never liked the drug, but the Anadrols there, it was 100 pills. They were in punch outs. I forget the name. I forget what they called them there. They were $10 for 100.
And what's that, dime? I can't even do the math. Is that a dime?
They were $100.
100 times
10. Yeah, it's like 10 cents a piece, right?
Oh my God!
And Chris, they were selling in the U.S. for like $300 for 100. They were $3 a pill in the U.S. at the time.
Yeah, at a dime. What's
and
the markup
when we
on
went
that?
there, we wanted to buy a whole bunch of them and just bring them back and give them to our friends.
Yeah.
But they had stopped making it, and so they only had like 15 or 17 boxes of the stuff. So we bought 17 boxes for $170.
See, Dave, if you were instead of being a son of an English teacher, if you were the son of like a mobster,
right,
Palumbo, you would have just gone over there and bought the pharmacy.
That's true. But you know what? What I did was when we went in there with like a wad of cash. And when the pharmacist saw the wad of cash, she led me into the back room, and let me get on the computer. And in Spain, you go on the computer, and this is in the early 90s. There was not much, it wasn't a very sophisticated computer, but they ordered their stuff on the computer. So what they did was they could order it like in the morning, and by the afternoon, after siesta time, they would deliver the stuff they needed to the pharmacy because there were like distribution depots there. Yeah. So I was ordering like I was like a kid in a candy store with who stole $100 from his mother, and wanted to buy everyone candy. It was crazy.
It's funny. Kids in candy store don't use that. I would like the opposite. I was like a bodybuilder in a Spanish pharmacy.
We were ordering everything. The only thing that was very expensive there, Chris, was growth hormone. It was like $200 for like 4 IUs or some crazy. It was like $150 for like 4 IU vials. Yeah. I don't know why it was so expensive, but GH in general was expensive, and it wasn't very readily available back around that time anyway. It was pretty new to the marketplace, and I think that's why it was so expensive. But everything else was really cheap. HCG was really cheap, and then we drove to Andorra, which is kind of between Spain and France.
Yeah.
And we were able to get French steroids there because that was like a little. It was like there was like no laws in that place. You can do whatever you want there. There was no taxes on anything. There was no sales tax, and we went and we bought some Powerballs there. And what else did we get there?
How long were you there for? You must have loved it.
We went for like I think the first time I went for 5 days, and the second time we were supposed to go for 2 weeks, but we ran out of money because we spent all the money on the steroids. We had no money for food, so we went to the airport and I begged them to let us go home early. I said, please, like, you can't change your flight. That we got to charge you like another whole flight. I'm like, please, we have no money. We're poor. We literally had like $20 left in our wallet, that kind of thing. And
where'd you stay when you were there? Just typical hotels?
Yeah, they were really cheap, Chris. It was like a I think we stayed in Andorra. We stayed in some hotels. It was like $50 a night or something like that. And then when we were in Spain, we actually rented like a little, almost like it wouldn't be, I guess it would be considered an Airbnb today, but it was like similar to that.
Yeah,
it was like term. For the week, it was like $100 or something like that, $120.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it was nuts. It was so cheap. We were right down the block from where all the bullfighting was. We didn't even go see a bullfighting thing because we were so busy running from pharmacy to pharmacy all day long.
It was you and who?
My friend Frank Wilhelm.
Well, you were like a businessman. You were like an American businessman in Spain. When people say, "What do you come doing in Spain?" Well, we're doing business here.
Yeah. I will say this: we went to a couple gyms there. They were pretty terrible gyms, but there was a couple of bodybuilding trainers there, and we were talking to them, and they really were very knowledgeable about like detoxification. Like a lot of the guys in Spain were using like S-adenosyl methionine injections for detoxing the liver. They were really big into Live 52 and milk thistle, and they educated me really. I didn't know that much about that. They were like, oh, you got to use this for that, and this to counteract this, and this for that, and I learned a few things from them just on detoxification, on a lot of the chemicals, a lot of the prescription stuff that guys were using back then to detox. They told us where to get thiomucase and the percutacrine, and all that stuff they had access to. But it's pretty funny. And Esicline, they didn't sell Esicline. Was a French steroid, but a lot of people in Spain had access to Esicline, like hundreds and hundreds of vials of the stuff. I don't know where they must have got it from Spain. They probably just drove it back. And it was crazy. Matter of fact, we went to, I probably told the story before. We actually drove from Andorra to Spain because Andorra is between France and Spain. And so we drove through, and when we realized when we got into France that we were in the mountains, there was no pharmacies in the mountains. We're like, what the hell are we doing in the mountains here? We were in the Pyrenees Mountains. So we turned around and we came back into Andorra. And when we went back into Andorra, we had to go through customs. And we had all the steroids in the trunk of the car that we had bought in Andorra. They weren't even the steroids from France. They were the stuff we just bought from Andorra. Now we're going back to Andorra, and they can check our car and ask us if we have any drugs. So they're looking through the suitcases. They're like, all right, get all the suitcases and go inside. No, they barely spoke English. They were French, these people, French customs. I'm like, all right. And we had a lot of stuff. So what I did was we had one of these hatchbacks. So I reached in to get the bag, and I have a long arm. I pushed all the gear as far in as you can see go, so you couldn't even see it from the outside. And I pulled all the suitcases out, and I left that in there. I slammed the trunk closed, and I get inside. So all the gear is still in the car. So now I'm thinking, all right, as long as everything we bring in is clear, we don't have anything in there, we're not going to get in trouble, right? But if we have one vial of something in there, they're going to rip apart the car. Right? And then they're going to find the other stuff, and we're going to go to jail. I'm like, I can't believe it. We were in France for 10 minutes, and we turned around, and we got to go through customs. So I was a nervous wreck at this point. And I remembered I had one strip of Anavar in my suitcase, in my little toiletry bag, because for some reason my friend Frank said, can you bring a strip for my girlfriend or something like that he brought? And I brought it from home. But I said, holy shit, they're going to go through everything. They're going to find the strip of Anavar. And sure enough, they went through everything, and they found that strip. And they're like, what? They were finding vitamins too. I'm like, there's vitamins. Yeah. And they're like, what's this? I'm like, vitamins. So what they would do is they would call the consulate or whoever there and ask, "Is this a drug?" You know, and they didn't know what anything was. Luckily, the stuff said oxandrolone on it, and there was no oxandrolone was ever sold in France or in Spain. It was an Italian steroid. It came from Italy. So when they called the name in, it didn't come back. They're like, nope, they didn't even know what it was. So they're like, okay, you can go. So we took all the stuff, put it back in the trunk, and we freaking drove out of there.
Dave, I wish you had pictures so I could say, Dave, pull up the pictures of that car in the trunk and indoor. People would love to see it.
I probably have pictures, one or two pictures
trip?
somewhere, not of the car maybe, but definitely of like us in.
Dig them up so you can put them on the next show. I'd love to see it.
He has all the pictures. I gotta have him send us some. It was a crazy. It's something you would only do at like 24 years old.
Yeah, believe me, Dave. You know what? The first thing, I swear to God, when you said 1990, I was trying to tally up your age. I said he must have been 23 because it's just no responsibilities.
No, I was like 20. Yeah, I think it was 23.
To some degree, ignorant. We'll never get caught, and if we do, what's the worst they could do to us?
Well, see, the way we thought we weren't going to get in trouble is that we said we're not going to bring any. We're not dumb enough to bring anything back with us. We'll just mail it back to PO boxes. Yeah. And you know what? A few of them didn't. A few boxes didn't make it, but no one ever. They must have just taken it. I didn't send anything to my house, so I was too scared. You know, my friend sent it to. He had a friend who had a PO box, and we sent a couple of them there. And
you found we lost a loophole, Dave.
We lost one.
Alf would say a loophole.
Yeah. I was really, you know, I didn't want to lose anything. I was pissed off that we lost the one box. There was some good stuff in that one.
Oh box. Yeah. You probably know exactly what was in it too, right?
Yeah, I think it was a box of like.
You know, to this day,
we lost like 50 parabones in that box.
Dave knows right to this day. Yeah, that box we lost 50 parabolin.
Yeah,
but at $1, Dave, whatever it cost, $50.
No, parabolin was expensive, Chris. It was in Andorra. We paid, I want to say like $12 a vial for them, which sounds like a lot, but they were selling for like $28 a bottle in the US. And that was one vial. That's one shot, 76 milligrams. Parabolin was very expensive back then. I don't know if you remember. Guys would use two a week for the last 6 to 8 weeks before a show. That was it, because it was just too expensive to use otherwise. And but $12 was a lot.
They were 76 milligrams.
76 milligrams, yeah. So if you took 2 a week, you were doing 150 milligrams, which is pretty much equivalent to like if you took 50 milligrams 3 times a week of tren acetate. That's about the same
Dave,
thing.
I don't even believe. I just don't. I don't believe. My gut tells me that 2 tren vials, 76 milligrams, is not equal to today's. It just can't be.
Probably wasn't, because I got really. You could tell a difference when you took those things. I mean, they were strong.
You'd almost die from coughing.
Yeah. The reason I wanted to go to France, believe it or not, was I wanted to get Permistrol. You remember Permistrol?
Oh yeah, Permistrol was what? Was
Masteron. It was Masteron.
Yes.
Drovastanolone.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get it anyplace else. No one had Masteron. It was the only.
It had skull and bones on the.
And they had a little saw. It came with a little saw in it.
Yeah.
Remember? You saw the top of the vial.
No, Bob would have his own little saw, by the way.
Oh,
but go ahead. He had this big vial thing you could cut off like this, Dave. Look.
Oh, it
was like a construction tool.
We wanted Permistrol. We couldn't find. That was the only thing we couldn't find on that trip. We found everything else except Permistrol. And there was no Anavar, because they didn't make Anavar in that area. The only person, for some reason, the United States was the biggest Anavar maker of all time. Searle used to make them. They were little footballs. And when the Controlled Substance Act came about, they stopped making it. And
they were 2.5 mgs.
Yep, 2.5 milligrams.
I don't believe same thing. I don't believe for 1 second. I just don't buy it that the 2.5 mgs is equal to 2.5 mgs today.
No, I don't think so either. Although
I think with all these, the you know what's happening, Dave? All these estrogen, like from the article, what do they call them? All the plastic estrogens floating around in the system is canceling out the strength of the Anavar and the tren.
There's your shout out, boss.
Boss Chin Lloyd.
Yeah. My doctor friend was giving everyone in the gym had a prescription. This was before my time, unfortunately, but everyone in the gym had a prescription for Anavar, and they would go fill it at the local pharmacy, and he couldn't, as a doctor, he couldn't write himself a prescription. So he would write prescriptions for all these other guys at the gym, and the deal was give me half, because he liked Anavar, this doctor. He was a big Anavar freak. And so when it went illegal, he didn't know. And matter of fact, he used to tell me the Searle reps, the drug reps, used to come to his office and they would give him boxes of the stuff because they actually were able to give samples before it was a controlled substance.
Yeah.
He had so much, he was giving them out to people. When it became illegal, when it became a controlled substance and Searle stopped making it, he panicked because he didn't have any. He said he had one bottle.
So what do you have to do?
Was trying to buy it back from all the kids in the gym.
Yeah, he had to go on the black market.
Yeah. He's like, I'll give you double the price. I need my
Yeah.
Anavar. They're like, no, I can't get any more of it. Everyone flipped out. The price went from free to like $100 for,
Supply and demand.
10 pills. It was crazy. People went crazy. And everyone had a prescription. I'm sure Bob was getting tons of bottles of those too, because they were like M&Ms. They were not, it wasn't
Tic Tacs. Tic Tacs.
Yeah, Tic Tacs. Anyway, congratulations to Vlad the Impaler, Saruko, who wins the Yamamoto Cup in Italy. He's going to the Olympia along with the rest of the crew. We should be seeing, Michael Crizo trying to get, make his, he's going to be doing, I think, the Prague show, I think they said he was going to do. Try to qualify for the Olympia.
Yeah.
And then we have, what's his name, who's got to get his pro card. Oh, no. I think it was a Good Vito, right? The guy, Good Vito was he from Ukraine or something like that? Where's he from? You know what I'm talking about?
Else? No, I don't
The
know.
Russian kid? He's also trying to get compete.
Oh, yeah. The kid in Brazil. Yeah.
He's not Brazilian, is he?
Yeah.
Italian?
No. He's Russian.
Yeah. He's a freak. What do you think of this guy? Pull this picture up. Is he better than Crizo or not?
Well, it's just another Instagram picture, dude. Come on.
He's a freak. He's got a lot of muscle, Chris.
Yeah, I know, but it's Instagram. And I mean that. Because 8 out of 10 pictures people post on Instagram, then they show up at these shows and you're like, God, it doesn't look like that. I'm not saying he doesn't, but 8 out of 10 do not look like they look like in Instagram, period. Right. Full stop.
Well, we'll see. I really hope to see guys like him, guys like Crizo, with the new guys, Andrew Jackson, Blessing, Awadibu, all these guys in the Olympia. It'll be exciting, I think, for once. So you think they get a whole new crop of guys that we haven't seen in that Olympia?
Oh, it'd be incredible.
I have to believe that
it'd be incredible, and it'd be unbelievable if somebody gets like a major call out, because they deserve it. And it will happen. I mean, if someone shows up, one of these guys show up and they're just off the hook. Doesn't matter if you
completely inject so much energy back into the sport of open bodybuilding, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
We need it. The sport needs it.
Yeah. Things are changing. Meaning, there's new people coming up anyway. But just quickly like that would be unbelievable to unseat people.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys. I want to thank you all for joining us as always. I know
next week we want pictures from the Andorra trip, and we want the stamped passport that shows because that's Hall of Fame stuff.
That is.
It goes into where you you can't bring the kids to the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame, where you have to go to the back room.
I'll call it the Boston Lloyd wing, where we put all the old drugs. We got to get. I think I have a few Essenclean vials from back in the day too that I never used. Yeah, and I found a Primobolan vial also, a Sharing Primobolan vial in my drawer the other day. I don't even know how I got there. It's a single amp.
What is that doing?
Sharing Primo. I don't know how it was in my toiletry bag somehow. I got stuck in there.
You never wanted to throw it out after 20 years.
I don't know. It's just weird. I only wish I had a bottle of Drive. You know, remember Drive from?
Oh yeah, that was
Australia?
Australia. It was
Definitely be worth
two
using.
anabolics. It was
Definitely
supposed to.
using.
What was it? And I'll tell you what it was supposed to do because Bob told me. Tell me what
Methyl
was.
dipropionate with equipoise, right?
What's the first one?
Methyl dipropionate was supposed to sensitize the androgen receptors, right?
That's exactly what Bob said. Yeah.
That was the rumor. No one really knows if it really did that.
Well, you know, the excitement of it all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly what I need. You know, no, you don't. You just need to microdose. Microdose. No, I need my receptors really sensitive.
That's right. On that that little micro instruction that Chris gave you, I think you should be called, instead of the real technician, you should be called the real microdoser. Maybe that might be a better name for you now. The real or maybe you should be a micro technician. Now that you're in the new age of bodybuilding, Chris, maybe you should be the micro technician, the real micro technician, Chris Aceto. There you go.
Yeah.
That's your new
name.
I've just anointed you the new micro technician. And on that note, as we say every week here at Heavy Muscle Radio, with Heavy Muscle Radio.
I missed it. The truth hurts.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.